we did anything wrong. Tell us what we did wrong and we'll make amends for it. So when he offered the qualified apology, we the ones have to qualify the apology because they said we came from over there. How do we qualify it? We find out who they is versus who we is, right? We can't qualify that apology. That means we can't accept Ghana's apology because they done nothing wrong to us. It was these other bastards over here masquerading as conquistadors. They running around claiming to be us, acting like they us, and they the motherfuckers that's holding the power in secret. They the ones did the dirt. They the ones put us, overtook Big Mama house and called it the Big House. They don't want Big Mama getting no credit for shit. Well, fuck you motherfuckers. I'm going to give Big Mama all the credit she can deserve. This her shit and her daughter's shit. And them my sisters. And that's my Big Mama. And my mama is one of her daughters. So all you rotten motherfuckers can give it up. Mama said don't let nobody take nothing from your brothers and your sisters. Well, I'm here to get all back. I'm back for every fucking thing they owe, no longer oppressed. We didn't overthrow those, just put us in this rotten mess. Now you can ask Pac and he can agree and we can pick sides and then against our enemies ride. Yep, Zionist Jews came in as conquistadors, challenged us to a conjure war, fezzes against feathers. All of the fezzes is in the motherfucking Washington Memorial of the motherfuckers that's the masters that going in the war. They there. All you gotta do is I batch the motherfucking feds up to the dirty motherfucker and you know exactly who you was warring against to the individual. Them is Enlil kids. They thought they were smarter than us. So we go back to where Enlil came in and showed them the dirt from the beginning. It's the dirt from the beginning. Right? They settled the Turkish land and called themselves Ottomans. And they got kicked out of Africa and settled in Europe as the Etruscans, and they became the founding fathers of the motherfucking Roman Empire once they infiltrated Greece. So you got to know what they did. If you don't know what they did, you can't undo this shit. They told me it was like scrambling an egg. Well, nigga, I unscrambled that bitch in real time, and they don't like it. They don't like it, so all they can do is just put me in Facebook jail or block me on Instagram or some shit. Do what you do. I'm still going to keep telling these motherfuckers the same thing. This shit is over. All we waiting to do is see our leadership step out and tell y'all, ride bust them motherfuckers in the Badusi and left them bent over and stupid. They shouldn't have never ran up on a gorilla and they wouldn't have never got their cage rattled. That's all I'm saying. That's nothing personal. It's just family business. So the family told me to redeem the family. So I redeemed them motherfuckers. Fuck these motherfuckers and the horses they rode in on, or the motherfucking Sky Chariot, whatever they want to call it. Sky Chariot or Pegasus or whatever the fuck they want to call it. Because y'all don't know Pegasus was the Sky Chariot's name and they didn't use a real horse. That was just like flying horse was a term like we use horsepower in reference to cars. They call it Pegasus. Pegasus power. The motherfucking Vimanas. Right? Look up the Vimanas Sutras. It's about the ships. Look up the Vimanas Wars. It'll tell you how you got in this motherfucking big ass conflict with motherfuckers across the family that don't got nothing to do with you. But I'm gonna be going over it in detail tonight on Young Elder. I'm gonna show you these motherfuckers from when they came, right? It tell you right in the Bible when they came. So we're gonna go over some shit. Yep. Humpty Dumpty. All Humpty Dumpty was motherfucking unmotherfucking harnessed potential. Wasted potential. That's what an egg is. It's pure potential. You don't know if it's going to be a chicken or a rooster till it hatch. But it might not be fertile, so it might never hatch. Every egg ain't the same. Yep. The ship was the Mayflower. And they called the Mayflower's original name was the good ship Plymouth. And they call it the Mayflower because the Mayflower is the sunflower, which is the symbol for the sun, which is one of Enlil's logos. Yeah, and them preachers are scared. Most of them is under the threat of death if they tell you. So they look like us, but they ain't us. How could you deceive a motherfucker if he don't look like you? into thinking that you ain't you. Right? You gotta be a motherfucker look like you want you to think you came from Africa and all the time you was already here. We've been here so long, we had to build a place called here in order for it to exist. I'm telling you, we the spirits of the earth spirits. Right? And the spirits of the earth spirits is called the Neteru. And the Neteru translate out of motherfucking ancient hieroglyphics into modern English as the gods. But we don't see the God concept in the same way that the rest of the world has been taught the God anthropomorphic concept. Right? So a lot of them preachers are scared to tell it, but the ones who tell it, their congregation gets scared and run off. So now he can either, give it to them a piecemeal and hope they can put it together to keep them there long enough to get as much as he can, or it won't work. They gonna all run off. The most terrifying thing you can tell a motherfucker is the truth. A motherfucker will accept anything as long as you don't tell them the truth. They take all of your sweet little lies over your motherfucking bitter ass truth. And that's why motherfuckers be coming in my head, because the truth is annoying to motherfuckers that's abhorrent to the truth. Right? It's contagion and aberration. These motherfuckers know what's up. Yep. So since I'm back on here, I'm gonna be back more live on here like I used to be, since they didn't let me out of jail. I guess I'm out on bond because they never gave me no notification I was in jail. They didn't give me no notification I was out of jail. And now, I guess I must be out on bond. Somebody must have bailed me out and I don't know it yet. But, y'all, I'm going to keep it up. I'm going to keep on knocking till these motherfuckers kick the doors down. Then let the GDs in the door. All right. Peace out, fam. And so, this is what we do. I look at all of the conflicts in history, and I noticed that there's a lot of different causes for conflict, but there's a better cause for peace. You see, you gotta have two sides to fight a war, because when the people are used as the weapons, you take the weapons out of the equation. When the weapons are no longer in the equations of war, then they can't destroy us. They can't crush us. Peace. So as I sit back and I observe, I remember when I was a little boy, we'd be at the basketball court. There's always somebody that want to be unruly, ignorant, foolish, irrational, and hard to work with, right? So when we played basketball, what we would do is we take our ball and go. Take our ball and we would go home. This had a kind of odd effect that I noticed. Be a whole bunch of trash talk, but within short order, if a ball don't show up, everybody go home. They go on their separate ways. You got some stragglers that sit around and stay where they at. Don't want to make no moves. They just want to stay stagnant, but that's fine. They still can't play ball. They can stay at the park on the basketball court, but they can't play ball without a basketball. And those who own the basketball is aware of this. They know this. But if the person who owned the basketball is unaware that he can take his ball and go home, and it would cripple the whole game. He don't have to tear nothing up. He don't have to fight nobody on the court. He don't have to fight the bully. He don't have to slap the little guy. All he had to do is just say, hey, man, get my ball. I'm going home. And he go home. Everybody going to be looking at him crazy. But guess what? Everybody end up going home if no other balls come. Now, expand that on a massive scale, like globally, right? Let's just say that America No, let's say we don't even use country we in. We want to use two countries that don't got nothing to do with us directly. So let's say we take Brazil wants to attack India, and none of the soldiers are willing to fight in that war. None of them. Not a single one, from the generals to the foot soldiers. How the heck can we die? How can you wage a war when the tools of the war are inoperable? They don't work. You can't. It's impossible. Take your ball and go the fuck home. But you would have to have a call for a specific type of unity across various borders. You would have to have a call for unity that would embrace so many people that when people take their ball and go home, everybody go home. They already know what it's about. They already know what it's about. It's about the march to peace. And the march to peace sometimes is a family-oriented event. Go home. Play with your children. Kiss your wife. Hug your mama. Get wisdom from your father. You know? You don't have to always tear things apart, shred stuff. It's a reason for all of this chaos is because we keep allowing it. The easiest way to stop the foolishness and the ignorance, the easiest way, is all of the mothers tell your child, we ain't fighting for these animals. Because they have to be animals to pit us together to fight us like animals. And if they're going to put us together and fight us like animals, they have to use something against us that would allow us to do that. And the greatest tool in the history of the world is divide and conquer. Now, we've been thinking that there's been one nation versus another nation in these wars. That's absolutely not what it is. It's never been in Germany versus France in World War II. That wasn't even the purpose. World War I, it got nothing to do with no Lithuanian ships. You know, it got nothing to do with that. And it's population control by using the very people that you want to quell the population as the implements of war. They know that we like combat because we mastered the martial arts in all ancient cultures, because we wanted to learn how to defend our clans from invaders no matter where they may come from. Here we are now, we on Earth. We look around and all we see is conflict, bloodshed, disunity, disharmony, backbiting, backstabbing, resentments, hatred, bigotry, foolishness, and ignorance. All that stuff in one pot, then they stir it up and feed it to us, and we eat it. We don't have to eat it. Every mother should just call her children in the military and just say, come home. We're not fighting for these animals. If we're going to have any type of conflict, we should be fighting in our own interest. Who's gaining? Look at the wounded warriors. See, we need to do something like to federalize this Wounded Warrior Project. And right, but that's the whole point. It was a trick from the beginning. Okay, I'm going to read this. Many nations that does not look like us came together against us and plotted against each other. Right, but see, that's the trick. Because they used the minority population on the planet. By exalting the minority population, they got the smallest group. So at the time that the people of the mass realized that the smallest group is oppressing the largest group, then we can just annihilate them and get rid of the problem. But that was never the problem to begin with, because then they're going to go to the next smallest group and superiorize them. We can't fall for that. This is the end of them games. So it worked like this. Ain't no more white people that was created in this Babylonian experiment. The genetic mess up has been clean. That's over with. Now everybody have the capabilities of rising to their own level of greatness. Everybody. And because everybody can rise to their own level of greatness, we should all be able to pull this plank out our eye and see the enemy for who he is. If we trace it all back, it end up with one person. And they want to tell us, don't be anti-Semitic and all of this. It ain't Israel as a nation over there in the Middle East, because they pawns. They pawns. The Khazarians, the Ashkenazi, the Sephardi, those are pawns. No, those are not pawns. They're more like rooks and bishops on the chessboard. They bigger pieces, but they're expendable. So you got to track it back. Now, how do you track it back? You follow the dollar. You follow the currency. You find out who reaps the greatest benefit of all. Well, I used to think when I was a lot younger that it was the royal families of Europe. But then I came through research to realize that it's not the royal families of Europe. It traced back to one particular house in one particular place in one particular person. And he wears a crown that represents 3 tiers, which is your economics, your military, and political strength. And also it represents your religious strength. By combining them all together, that's where your spiritual weaving comes in, your spider web. So if the world want to know who's responsible, you got to find out who's claimed right of all of the souls on earth to undermine the rights of the people who own their own soul. Now remember, your U.S. Constitution says, your Declaration of Independence says that you have God-given inalienable rights. That means that nobody can't take them from you, but they can trick you out of them if you surrender them. They can trick you into giving up your rights. But there's somebody on this planet that filed paperwork in 1301 to capture the souls of the people. And it's the same one person that seats all of the royalty and confirms them and gives them the appearance of being the problem. Now, the royal families do have things that's going to be dealt with, like adrenochrome and the drinking of baby blood that's prohibited. And you don't know that Queen Elizabeth is not still alive. She's been dead. That's an imposter that they're using over there, so they don't want nobody to know. She's gone. And Pope Francis makes mockery of every single human on earth. He is the animal. I told y'all at the close of the age, I would pull the curtain off the man who stands behind it, pulling the strings in the land of Oz. His name now is Pope Francis. But it's the same symbiote who jumped body to body for thousands of years so he can survive eternally. And he wants to deprive you of your eternal life by allowing his host to live as comfortable as possible. But he have to have a certain biological signature trait. And this certain biological signature trait allows the symbiote to attach. Now, if you go back, you probably won't see it very far back in history, but when they see the Pope, they tell you there's a meeting of, bishops, and that they are all in there voting and negotiating who would be Pope. That's cool. It makes sense, but it ain't true. You see, they got a period of time where they have to go through different blood types and genetic signatures in order that the symbiote can actually cleave to the host. And so they have a series of these hosts that sit there in a stasis-like state while the symbiote attaches through his eye into his brain. And there's a part of the brain that connects the 2 hemispheres, and this little symbiote lodges there. Now, I don't think the world should participate in this rotten, bloody mess anymore. You know what I think they ought to do? I think every head of state need to send me and my thugs over there so I can get that symbiote out of his head. All these kids don't need to keep coming home with arms blowed off, legs blowed off, holes in their body, bullets in their head, plates in their head. That's horrendous. That's atrocious. And it's unnecessary and uncalled for. But nobody wants to trace the issue of divide and conquer back to its source. People should love each other and should try to work together at all costs to overcome this unstoppable evil. But we don't want to do that because the evil turns us against each other, and it began with the Tower of Babel scenario. The Tower of Babel was there as a reminder of the problem and who caused it. So, when you go through the John Wick series, John Wick is a man in love with a woman that he met that got him out of a horrible lifestyle. And as you walk through the storyline, he ends up in part 3. Now notice there's 3 parts to the John Wick story. And he goes into the desert, and here you have Maitreya. Here you have Maitreya. I told y'all he was the one behind the problem. I posted him in Africa deceiving people on my Facebook page so y'all can see exactly who's responsible for this evil that we are being subjugated by. Also, his pawn or his queen is the Pope. Check that out. His queen is the Pope. Now here's the analysis that you understand what you're dealing with. If you go back in history, you will notice that before 325, there was no such thing as what we call the Catholic Church because Christendom hadn't been established yet. It was established by Pope Constantine. Pope Constantine needed the believers, the faithful, the Almoravides, the defenders of the faith. He needed to capture them, put them in sequestered locations, and under the threat of death, they would have to come up with a common belief system in which they would install the papacy. They did that, but they left us clues along the way, breadcrumbs, for us to discover this deception and expose this rotten beast for who he is. Now, the Pope is the queen. The seat that he's sitting in, this was originally called the Noon Priestess. They never changed them. They just called them nuns now. And the Noon Priestess was headed up by